Hello, friends. Welcome back to another empowering episode of Will's Wealth and Wisdom. I'm Ouida Jones, your friendly neighborhood realtor, estate planning advocate, here with my co-host, friend, and legal expert, Cathe Evans Williams.
Oh, well, thank you. And hey, I am Cathe Evans Williams, managing attorney of the Evans Williams Law Group. I try to break down the legalese so that we can all understand what's happening. And I am Ouida's co-pilot. So in this journey, what we're trying to do is bring estate planning to your life, your legacy, and yes, even your paperwork.
I think you're a master decoder legalese. I don't care what you say. But that's right. We're not just here about those stuffy legal forms or dusty documents. We're not here for that. We're here to make sure you understand the why behind estate planning, not just the what. Mm-hmm. And today we're diving into some deceptively simple but surprisingly powerful beneficiary designations.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a hard word for me sometimes.
Yes, no, I get it. Beneficiary designations. And you know, those little boxes when you're setting up your bank account or your life insurance policy, that's what we're talking about. Who are you going to leave your stuff to when you pass away, right? Because it's not an if, when you pass away. So who are you going to name as a beneficiary? So it's not just, paperwork. It's not just a little box. We're going to talk about the importance of that little box today.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So in this episode, we're going to break it down. Why those designations matter, because they're really important. How to avoid some all too common mistakes, and what you need to do to make sure your legacy lands in the right hands. Not your exes, not the IRS's, and not Cousin Leroy. You know Cousin Leroy, unless you really wanted to.
I got a good Cousin Leroy.
Okay, well, maybe you won't get him your money. I won't give my Cousin Leroy my money.
All right, okay. Well, you know what? But before the bad Cousin Leroy gets any ideas, let's go ahead and get into it, okay?
All right, Cathe. So what exactly is a beneficiary designation, and why does it carry so much weight in estate planning?
All right. I mean, really, 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 really great question. And let me just cut to it. It lets you name exactly who gets specific assets like life insurance or retirement accounts or your bank account or your investment accounts. We can even add this transfer on death instrument because you can name a beneficiary on your house. Okay? So beneficiaries allow you to transfer a specific asset to the person or people you want. It takes priority over a will, right? So if you have in your will, I want to give it to Nancy and Joe, but in your bank, you have identified a beneficiary as Nancy. Nancy's going to get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it avoids probate entirely. So it doesn't even matter what you put in your will.
That's great.
If you have a beneficiary designation, that trumps your will.
Well, that is really great information to have, because I think people don't necessarily know that if they have a will, that the information they put when they put that payable on death, I guess it is, on those bank accounts, that's going to trump it. So I don't think people know that, because I don't know that I necessarily knew it. So, all right, so what types of accounts typically let you name a beneficiary?
Okay, yeah, and I kind of started it, but let's kind of do a list, okay?
Yep.
And so life insurance policies,
Makes sense.
whether they're whole or term or variable universal, all those, right? Life insurance policies let you name a beneficiary. Do it. Retirement accounts like IRAs and 401ks, they let you name beneficiaries. Okay. Pension plans even let you name a beneficiary. Typically, it has to be your spouse, right? But there are some exceptions, right? So you just want to make sure. Take a look at yours and see. Name a beneficiary if you can, even if you're, not married.
Yeah.
See if you can do it. And then also bank accounts. And traditionally, bank accounts may call it a POD, payable on death. Sometimes they call it a TOD, transfer on death. But you can name a beneficiary at the bank account level. And then also, as I talked about a little bit earlier, on your house.
Yes.
Right? So all of these things allow you to name a beneficiary.
And you probably should, it sounds like.
And you should, because let me tell you, in the event that you're not going to do a trust or something like that, you could, let me put it this way. Naming a beneficiary is the free way to start your estate plan.
There you go. That makes sense.
Let me say that.
Yep, free 99 as they call
it. Free 99. You can name a beneficiary for free, and that will make the difference in your estate plan.
That is powerful. That is very powerful. All right, so now let's talk about what not to do? What
Okay.
mistakes do people make with beneficiary forms?
Okay, so one, not to name a beneficiary,
There you go.
right?
There you
That's a
go.
mistake.
Big one.
But the other thing would be, not checking it. Because maybe back in 1994, you were married to Joe and you guys were happy, and then you got divorced, and Joe is still named as the beneficiary
Yeah.
on your bank account.
Yeah.
You might not want that.
Or your pension that only a
Oh,
spouse can be named on.
Hello.
Shoot, you
And
still
so-
don't want that job.
I mean, maybe you guys had a decent breakup, and maybe he's the father of your children or
Yeah.
something. Everything is cool, and sometimes, really, in a divorce, in the marital settlement agreement, if you do have children, the court does order you to include a life insurance policy naming the children as beneficiaries. So I'm getting off on a tangent, but the life insurance policies, yeah, certainly. So you just want to check it. So that's one of those things that you want to do. You want to make sure that you check it to make sure that it still is applicable to your current life. So some people don't do that. So
That's
one,
right.
they
That's
don't
right.
have it.
That's
They haven't named a beneficiary, or two, they haven't checked it recently to make sure that it still says what you want it to say.
That's true.
And then, sometimes they name a minor child, right? And so you're going to name a 5-year-old to inherit $100,000. Using a POD or TOD just for that is not necessarily the best way to go.
Got it.
Because 5, 6, 7, anything under 18, they really need a guardian who's going to address those money matters for them.
Yeah.
So that's just something to consider. You don't just want to name a minor as the beneficiary without addressing the guardianship of that minor.
Makes sense.
Right. And you typically can do that in a trust, right? But today we're only talking about beneficiaries. So just wanted to make sure the things that you want to look out for is you want to make sure you do it, name a beneficiary. You want to make sure it's up to date. You don't want to name a minor child as the beneficiary. And you don't want to say anything in your beneficiary designation that doesn't align with your will or your trust.
Okay.
So they all need to go together.
Yeah, it makes sense. Otherwise, it's confusing. Got you.
Okay.
All right. And those sound like missteps that a lot of us make, including me.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm working with you to correct my mistakes going forward.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. So, and how about contingent beneficiaries? Are they optional or are they essential?
Essential.
It makes sense.
I mean, I won't even, belabor that point other than to say in real life, people pass away.
Yeah.
In real life, you might name somebody that you trust and you guys travel together.
Yeah.
And so if you become incapacitated because of the car accident, they were sitting right next to you, they are too.
Yeah.
And so you need that second person just in case.
Yep.
So essential.
Yep. That makes sense all day long. That's great info to have. We talk about this all the time, but it's really important. How often should someone update their beneficiary form?
Yeah, that's a great question too. Along with the whole estate plan, I traditionally stick with that 3 to 5 years. Just routinely every 3 to 5 years, just check to make sure all of your documents still apply.
Yep.
Right. And if there are any major life changes, so if you got married, take a look and see if you need to make any changes. If you got divorced, if you had a new child, maybe you suffered a different kind of major loss, right? Maybe you had named your best friend as your trustee and your best friend has passed away. Right? I mean, so any major change in your life, that's when you take a look at it. Or, like I said, every 3 to 5 years.
Okay. And again, that's very important information to have. We can't emphasize it enough. That 3 to 5 years, we say that consistently. We have to keep this stuff updated.
That's right.
I'm not sure, I'm sure if you had a dime for every time one of your clients came to you because they forgot to update their 401k after divorcing Uncle Leroy or Aunt Nene, you'd be a rich woman.
We're going to leave Leroy alone.
Well, Aunt Nene, her too, shoot. And what can go wrong if someone doesn't update them?
Yeah, I mean,
let's talk about that.
Really, 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 because what happens is, we worked at such and such 25 years ago when I was married to Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been at that job forever, but I did have that life insurance policy.
Yes.
And I left Joe's name on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. Right, so one of the things that can happen is that the money can go to somebody who it wasn't intended to go to.
Hello, drama.
I mean, that's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
Or perhaps you had listed your mom, and now your mom has passed away.
Yeah.
And so now, for all respects, there's no one listed there.
Yeah. Yep.
And so now that is going to have to go through probate.
Yep.
So, in the event you don't do it right, the money can go to the wrong person, or you can put your family in a position where they have to go through probate.
Yeah.
That's really the short answer.
Yeah, it is. It is. And so it sounds like a beneficiary form is kind of the Beyonce of estate planning. I had to get that in
I
there.
love it.
And Beyonce don't play. Y'all know Beyonce don't play.
Beyonce runs the world.
Hello?
I get it. Okay,
Yep,
I
she
get
does. She does. And speaking of Cowboy Carter, let's get those boots on the ground. Where those plans at? Where those plans at?
Wait. Where those plans at? I love that. Where those plans? Okay.
Keep that in mind, people.
I love it.
Keep that in mind. So how can folks make sure their designations work in harmony with their larger estate plan?
Yeah, and so really it's putting your puzzle pieces together, making sure that everything works with each other. So the easiest way, of course, is to talk to your attorney or your financial planner, because we are able to see things less emotionally than you are. Right? And so we can ask those questions. Hey, what about that job back in so-and-so? What are your life insurance designations?
Right.
And you're going to say, oh, well, I don't even remember. So we make you remember, right? And so we want to make sure that you connect the dots. They are all working together. Your beneficiary designations work with your trust, or at least your will, or your transfer on death instrument. And so you want to make sure that all of them reflect the same goals and they have the same people.
Right. And that makes sense. That makes sense all day long.
Yeah. And then can I just say one more thing?
Yes, please.
You should not name your estate as the beneficiary unless you're specifically told to do that. I've seen that several times where, you're looking at a investment beneficiary designation and they say the estate of so-and-so. That's a direct path to probate.
Oh.
Right, because maybe what they meant to say was their trust, but if they don't say that and they just say their estate is equivalent to probate.
Yeah,
Right?
that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense. First, when you said it, I was a little confused. Now I understand what you're saying. It's not the trust, it's the estate, and you don't want to name that estate because that goes to probate.
There you go.
Yep. Okay, well, that makes sense. Well, that's a wrap on episode 7. And listen, if you've been sleeping on those beneficiary forms.
Don't sleep, wake up.
Right, wake up call, man. I told you about Beyonce. Where those plans at? Where those plans at, darn it?
Plans at?
Right.
No, because you do. I mean, and we make fun and we try to, bring joy and all that stuff to estate planning, because some people, when you start thinking about estate planning, you start thinking about death. Yeah. But really, you can start thinking about legacy.
Yes.
Right?
Life.
Think about leaving your family legacy versus drama.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, seriously.
I mean, really. And the easiest, fastest, simplest way to do that is to name a beneficiary. So we had this whole segment just to underscore the importance of naming a beneficiary on all of your documents, all of your cash accounts, investment accounts, life insurance. Name a beneficiary.
Please do a beneficiary checkup this weekend if you haven't done one already. It's a small step that can save your family a big headache later on. I would hate to think of you rolling over in your grave because somebody you can't stand got your money after you was gone.
Oh, wait.
Hello? Okay. Sure.
Right. I mean, and you want to make it as not overwhelming, right? Yeah. You want to make sure that you are completing your estate plan in a way that feels that you are empowering yourself, right? And, you can make it even a little entertaining along the way.
That don't hurt nobody.
Why not?
Right. Well, thanks for listening to Will's Wealth and Wisdom. Be sure to subscribe, provide comments, and share this with someone you know who definitely needs to check their beneficiary forms.
That's right. Check those forms. And if you're naming Cousin Leroy, I have a good Cousin Leroy, right? But you might have a bad Cousin Leroy.
See?
But whoever you name, make sure that you name somebody, right? And at least, you know what? Go ahead and send them this episode so that they recognize the importance of what you've done. Hey, how about that?
I think you're right.
All right. Well, hey, your hosts today were Ouida Jones, Illinois licensed realtor with HomeSmart Realty Group of Orland Park. You can reach Ouida at ojones.realtor@gmail.com.
And my friend, Cathe Evans Williams, managing attorney at the Evans Williams Law Group. You can learn more about her on her website at tewlg.com. Until then, take care
and plan with purpose.